This is a huge story. I think when they look back on this period, this will be a key component of it. From Politico, Georgia court posts, then removes document detailing charges against Trump. The document, which Reuters first reported, came from the Fulton County Court, listed 12 felony counts and one serious felony count for violating Georgia's RICO Act. Here's the thing. The grand jury is still in. They haven't convened. How could they have these documents ready to go? They're suggesting that the Georgia DA planned to charge Trump regardless of what the grand jury actually did. Politico says the county court in Georgia, where Donald Trump is expected to be charged this week, briefly posted and quickly removed a document on Monday detailing several charges against the former president over his alleged election interference in the state in 2020. The document, which Reuters first reported came from the Fulton County Court, includes Trump's name and lists the case's status as open. It is dated August 14th and timestamped 12:39 p.m. The document lists 12 felony counts and a serious felony count for violating the RICO Act. This is crazy. I think we have the document right here. This is it. Case information, state of Georgia versus John Trump. You got the case number, the filing date. I'm just going to say this right now. If there is a filing date on a court document listing charges, I can say definitively they filed charges against Trump. Now, I think we can get semantic or a bit pedantic and say perhaps filing a charging document is different from literally bringing charges against Trump. But I think the fact that they did this is telling, and no one is going to trust them over this. They've pulled this document down. They're issuing no comment. So I don't know what to think about this, but it certainly seems, I don't know, man. I'm calling it seditious conspiracy. That they were working to take down Trump. The grand jury, which is supposed to be the normal process to bring about indictments, is meaningless, fake, and they were going to do this anyway because their real goal is to cheat in the 2024 election.
So just as the common man here, I just don't know the process very well, but a grand jury is going to get together and they're going to talk about what charges to bring. And then after they decide, they'll build a paper like what we have here, this case information document. But you're saying that the grand jury hadn't even decided yet and the document was already prepared.
The grand jury just finished hearing some testimony today. They're still in hearing evidence. So look, again, I'm not a lawyer. But what I'm seeing from a lot of high profile personalities and people who are literally lawyers is that it appears that they've filed charges against Trump with the grand jury still in session.
Well, the thing that's crazy to me about it is even if you're gonna indict Trump, ultimately, if you're gonna do what you're doing, this seditious thing, you're trying to do this election interference as if this is what would it be? Why would you release this document and then pull it back? Why would you already mess up? Everybody doesn't believe you. Even more now when you come out and you do these things, and now you're gonna put out some kind of massive mess up like this.
It could be that they just want to be look how much control we have. They're just dangling it. They're you can't stop us.
You think they're just being arrogant?
I don't think they are, but that would be one possibility that they're yo, we're just gonna commit crimes in plain sight now, and you can't stop us.
I worked in politics. I don't think they're that smart, to be quite honest with you. If they had this plan, and they could have had this whole plan to, completely destroy Trump already, and they messed up. That's another thing that politicians do all the time. They mess up consistently. We see Biden do it pretty much every day. But I just don't understand why they would already release this and then pull it back.
I mean,
well, they screwed up, obviously.
It can't be out there. What I wonder is what Trump's legal team is going to do in response, right? Because to basically imply no matter what he is getting charged, really raises questions about due process. He's not even being indicted by a grand jury. He's being indicted by the lead prosecutor in Georgia, which is crazy.
Mike Cernovich said, Fulton County DA indicted Trump under Georgia's RICO law. Reuters obtained the documents. The grand jury is still meeting. The law isn't being followed. This is state-sponsored lynching. Mike's a lawyer. I mean, so I can only imagine he recognizes these documents, but perhaps there is some kind of argument. I'm trying to, be reasonable here. Maybe this is a list of potential charges that are being considered. I don't know. I don't know how they it seems if I was going to be nice to these people, which I absolutely would never be, they have a list of potential charges that they said whoops over and published.
Yeah, this is what we want to charge him with. Let's hope the grand jury goes for it. So we'll have the document ready to go. As soon as they say yes, then we'll publish it.
Well, either way, they probably, like how we do these things, well, how I used to do these things, we'd write two things and be like, this is what is probably going to happen, and one of these two things might happen. Either way, they click that button first.
Yeah.
Like, that was the first one they clicked. So no matter what they say, there's going to be a little edge to, like, they think this indictment's coming in the way they think it's going to come.
But then Reuters blamed the Georgia court system. They said, "Oh, this document was up, and then they took it down." And because this link you can see in the URL is a Reuters Foundation link, so they're saying it's not that we messed up as reporters; it's that the court. messed up.
Are we not talking? I thought we were talking about the court system, like trying to subvert him, not Reuters.
Correct. That's what I
I
think.
think it's. I mean, I think both, right? Like if Reuters, who published the story first, is saying the court system had it up and then took it down. That's interesting because then Reuters knew to look for the document. Which why would it be out if the jury hasn't convened?
That's a really good point. How did Reuters get tipped off the document was published? Unless it's possible that because the grand jury is in, they have a reporter just sitting there hitting refresh nonstop on this court listing page.
It's totally reasonable.
Well, they probably. I would assume they got a tip.
Well, no, Reuters actually. I could be totally wrong about this. It's been a very, very long time since I had anything ever to do with Reuters. This is like 10 years ago when I knew a guy who worked there. My understanding is they actually archive and sell legal documents.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I mean, this might be right up their alley to say, hey, look, this document just dropped. And then GA was like, how did this get published? Whoops. Immediately took it down. Here's what I gotta say. If this document was just a legitimate document pertaining to the potential charges Trump is facing, they'd leave it up.
yeah, there's nothing to be afraid of.
And they would just say, this is the list of charges that the grand jury is currently deliberating on. I think, look, man, I'm not giving these people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
If you were to ask me what is the reasonable solution, the simple solution, Occam's razor, they pre-planned charging Trump a long time ago and the grand jury doesn't matter.
And Georgia, I feel like just has it out for Trump. Georgia's, I feel like, been the thorn in his side for so long. So I'm not really. That's the other The other cases seem a little bit more shallow too. This seems to be the big one. I think this is the one that people are really worried about. I think this is the case that could really like destroy it. Well, the fabric of the government as we kind of know it. But
Why do you think that?
it's just like this is the one that could put Trump in actual jail, right? That's what people have been telling me at least. But
Maybe,
what do
but
they think?
it's not so much that this is the one that can put him in jail. It's that this is the one where there are zealous cult members who want to put him in jail regardless. DC is scared to remand Trump. New York is scared to remand Trump. The sheriff in Georgia already said he's getting that mugshot. Look, man, this is amazing. Republicans, there are conservative district attorneys all over the country. They do nothing. Yeah. And now you've got this novel reading of the law coming out of Georgia where they say, we are going to indict the former president and the current frontrunner for the Republican Party. And Republicans are going, oh, gee golly.
Yeah. And
just doing nothing.
And I think Georgia wants this more than anything else. They're one of the swing states. So Democrats in Georgia want Trump to be indicted there and solidly lock it down as a blue state for 2024.
The other thing that's interesting about this, and we were looking at the indictments, this is the fourth one, right? This is number 4. I think every time...
It's the fourth jurisdiction to issue indictments. I think it's like the 78th or something.
Okay. So I think every time they've done this issuance, like I think every time he's fundraised, he's just lost money each time. So I'm wondering how much money he gets off of this one. And if like that really is like showing that his support's going to go down.
Well, it's an issue of how much money do people have. So it's not that people aren't supporting him anymore. It's that a guy who gets $100 a week in extra cash already gave it to Trump. Can't give it again.
Yeah. I think everyone has a limit in terms of what they can give in a political cycle, especially, a year and a half out from the election or less than a year and a half at this point.
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious what they're doing. They're one, trying to remove Trump's name from the ballot, trying to put him in jail to stop him from running, and saddling him with so much legal debt and paperwork that he's unable to run anyway. This is cheating in an election, period. No question. You can remember this. I hope in 100 years, if they stumble upon this podcast, we said it. They're cheating. They are targeting the front runner for the Republican Party with the most support, who's set to win the primary in all of these ridiculous ways with charges that are clearly bunk, and they're trying to reframe and rewrite history to justify it.
Yeah. I mean, Trump's going to have to campaign completely around when he has court appearances, right? All of 2024, which is crazy to me. On the other hand, he has such strong support from his base that, like, if anyone could, it's Trump. It seems crazy that they're going to these lengths to sort of slow him down. But today, it seems farther than that. It's not just like meddling and trying to make it hard for him. It's they've actually decided that he is going to get indicted no matter what. And that should make all of the voters, of both parties in Georgia angry.
What do you guys think of this idea? So we threw this around the other day at my office. Biden washes Trump, like, what's it called? he pardons Trump. Trump loses all that momentum he gets from the indictments. All of a sudden, DeSantis is back in the game. What do you guys think about that? Like, if Biden decided that, but then he might be facing DeSantis, so it's a terrible move on his part. But like a curveball throwing in there. Like, what if he came out of nowhere, decided to pardon Trump, and all of a sudden Trump's dead in the water at that point? I feel like
I saw a video of DeSantis serving eggs to people and not making eye contact with anybody. Like he just looked like he was ashamed, and people were like, "I'm just here for the eggs." One guy, people do. That guy's he already lost the race, in my opinion. I don't think he has any chance.
What is their campaign doing? That like you're gonna go have him serve eggs after he's getting dogged all over the place? Like it doesn't make him look like a cool guy.
I know he should have been out touring like Ramaswamy's doing. Like he's doing the basement camp. I mean, it seems like he's doing a basement campaign. I haven't heard from him or seen.
I want to read this statement here. This is from Trump's lawyers. This was not a simple administrative mistake. Trump's attorneys, Drew Findling and Jennifer Little, said in a statement. A proposed indictment should only be in the hands of the district attorney's office, yet it somehow made its way to the clerk's office and was assigned a case number and a judge before the grand jury even deliberated.
Oh, okay. That's false then.
This is seditious conspiracy against the United States happening in your face in real time.
So do you file a lawsuit now against the district attorney?
File a lawsuit.
I know. Who files it?
And also, what court is going to give Trump a fair trial in this country? That's the real question, right? He can be indicted in any state. Obviously, Georgia has already made a decision about how they feel about him. Like, that's the problem.
It has a
here.
judge already.
That's why you have a federal government. So when states go rogue like this, you can take care of them.
Unless it's a mafia cult and they're working for the big guy and they're doing exactly what he wants.
Joe Biden's federal government?
Yeah, Joe Biden's federal government that's already got multiple indictments against Joe Biden's chief political opponent,
like, who
is polling above him.
I mean, to your point, no, I don't think Biden would ever pardon Trump because I don't think his base would be okay with that at all. I mean, he is their incumbent candidate, so he's their front runner in a sense, but he's not popular and he's old and nobody really wants him there. So if he doesn't have enough grace within the party to pardon Trump and come off looking like, oh, you're standing up for justice, because a lot of his supporters believe no matter what, Trump should go to jail. They can't even really name what charges they think he should be convicted on. That's why there are so many, it's like throwing pasta at a wall and seeing what will stick. Like whatever works, they'll agree to jail.
There's not a single conservative, Republican, libertarian, or otherwise prosecutor in Georgia who is going to go after what this is. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is at the bare minimum probable cause for a conspiracy investigation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And aren't they charging him for some RICO stuff too anyway? So it's like a conspiracy with a conspiracy, like they're doubling up.
Also, like, isn't Kemp, the Republican governor, gonna say something?
I mean, I don't even know what to say. Has he been charged or not? Because they listed the charge, but he's not. The grand jury hasn't convened yet, or hasn't decided on charges yet. So what's the process here? Who do you?
We're supposed to be the greatest country on earth. Like, we're supposed to have the best legal system. And this is the best, this is what we're dealing with right now, like in the middle of an election cycle,
But I think that's why we have to say, Georgia is a swing state. This is a political move on behalf of all Democrats in Georgia, right? If they can be the ones to get charges to stick against Trump, to actually convict Trump first, they would love that. That would lock down Georgia as a blue state in 2024. I mean, this is strategic, and they're going to, disrespect justice to achieve their political means. It feels like it's Super Bowl or like a football game, right? They're just wanting to see their team win.
The crazy thing is that apparently the DA's office, the Fulton County Court Clerk's office, referred to a, quote, fictitious document that has been circulated online, as if to argue the document isn't actually from them and it's being shared randomly. Mm-hmm. Yet Reuters has Georgia court website briefly removes document about potential Trump charges.
It's a pretty serious allegation from them if they're saying Reuters fabricated a document and that's what's being circulated online.
Wow, that's a bold claim.
Right?
Reuters,
that's their defense.
Well, here's the story. Either there's a seditious conspiracy against Donald Trump using the court system, or Reuters fabricated the news to smear opponents of Donald Trump.
And Reuters is a wire service, so it's where a lot of news originates everywhere. If they're the ones fabricating the news, that would be deeply concerning.
So should Reuters file a lawsuit against the person who's claiming that they are lying?
Argue defamation? I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Just lawsuit after lawsuit. It's like lawsuits just for media, because these lawsuits don't get resolved for years. So we're just sitting here so we can freak out about it while they just keep doing the same stuff. It's insane. Like, and if you look at like what we're going to impeach Biden now, what's going to happen then? Is that process going to go through? That's that's kind of a lawsuit. I guess not the same thing.
All I want to talk about is graphene. And all I want to talk about is fuel. I want to talk about energy cost, because if we want to circumvent a revolution, a violent or revolution, we need to make energy cheaper. We need to make fuel cheaper. I know politics. I mean, we should talk about it.
It's not the only reason for it's one of the strongest reasons for revolution and civil unrest: lack of access to food, water, shelter, etc. But it's not the only reason. I mean, political instability, of course, even when there is food available. But it does tend to be food and of course, energy. I want to point this out, too, because we have this from Atlanta News First. That's interesting. August 10th. This is being highlighted in much of these stories. We have an announcement. Fulton DA Willis launches fundraising website. Yeah.
Oh, the DA.
The DA launched a fundraising website to make money. At the same time, these indictments are pre-published.
We should check that. We should check the receipts on that. I don't know when that comes out, but I'm sure there's going to be a pretty penny in there.
I was trying to track down this. Is she running for re-election? I was trying to track this down, but I think she has a quote where she's like, "Yes, we've really accomplished what we meant to," or something. Like she uses the word accomplished. You want to be like, what do you mean? You had a goal and you achieved it? Yeah. That doesn't sound right.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.